when the house is built, you can refinance and use the equity to take the guarantor off the loan. At 19, I was like, what? What are you talking about? But then when I realized at the end, there was $130,000 equity, and all I did was finish the build. And then I realized that you can use that money to buy more.
Welcome back to Wealthy as Fuck, the podcast. I am so excited to interview our next guest, the gorgeous Mel Brooks. Melissa Brooks, but no, it's Mel Brooks. She's like the guru in property, a buyer's agent, like just understanding the property market and building wealth through that way. And I thought it's such a beautiful conversation, a very aligned conversation for us to have. So welcome firstly to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm both equally nervous and excited to be here.
Oh, I love it. I'm throwing Mel in the deep end with Chad and Kim. Who knows where the hell they're going to go. But I just love your story because we've been following each other for a while now, and we're both aligned, right? It's about how can we build wealth and what strategies are we going to use. I'm a big believer in property. Obviously you are, because it is your zone of genius with what you do, and how to leverage a system for long-term wealth and long-term growth and all of those things. And whilst you're doing that, is you've created your own Wealthy as Fuck life and what that means to you. And I can't wait to like dive into that. And I do feel like there's so much gold that you can give everyone, because I talk to so many women. They're like, I want to buy property. I want to get into property. I don't know how. We're becoming financially, it's not that I want to say independent, empowered, financially empowered.
100%.
But then it's like, what
then
the
what?
fuck do I do?
Yeah. And, people look at property like it's this big, scary beast. And, to somebody who doesn't know property, it can feel that way. And that's where, I hope to come in and make it seem a little bit more simplistic and give people that confidence to jump into property.
Yes. Well, tell us, paint a picture for us. When did you first get into property? What was going on for you before you went down this road? And why did it stand out for you? Like, give us a little bit of your story and what it's created for you.
It's actually, it's a pretty deep one. So I had a little bit of an uncertain living arrangement from about the age of 16. So having, a place to call home was something so super important to me from such a young age. So I went straight into the workforce. Actually, I was still at school when I got my first full-time job. I did still graduate, and while I was at school, I was saving because I was like, I need to get a house. I need to save for a deposit. So that's pretty much what I did until I was about 19. And it's actually funny because I'm diving into this a little bit more in depth on my Instagram at the moment. And I've just recorded part 1 of my property journey. So I'm full bottle at the moment. But yeah, so basically I saved, and I went to a mortgage broker who told me I didn't have enough savings. So I went to another mortgage broker who told me I didn't have enough savings, and I just kept not taking no for an answer. Eventually, my then boyfriend's dad went guarantor, and I ended up securing my first house and land package. I was 19, and that was my first, into the property market.
I love this because back when I was 19, and we're like the same age, us millennials, yeah. 19, mate, I did a gap year between uni and high school to save money. All I managed to save was $1,000 because I kept dipping, and all I wanted to do was party. So
I was very lucky. Like, I ended up living with my boyfriend. His dad was only charging me about $100 a week rent or board.
bored.
So I did manage to save a little bit of money, but, I still didn't have enough for a house deposit. I was, and that's why these mortgage brokers were saying no to me. At that stage, you still needed 20% or a guarantor, or you're paying your LMI. So yeah, I got very lucky. I did.
You did get lucky, but you went to work and, well, you did the things, right? Like, people
Well,
can
this
be
is
like,
what
"You're
I
lucky."
always say. Like, yeah, when people say, you're lucky, it's like I had somebody back me, but I was also somebody that was deserving of being backed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
because
how
you
I see it.
identified as that, you established that, and I talk so much about, like, wealth is an identity. Because you could have $1 million in the bank and still feel broke. You could have sweet fuck all and feel so wealthy because that it's an identity. It's what your values are.
Yep.
One, I know for you and me personally, having a shitload of money in the bank or in assets definitely makes us
Oh,
happy. That ticks the boxes.
it's like a big warm cuddle. I feel safe.
Yeah, and that's all we need.
The more
Yeah,
zeros at the end, the safer I feel. And yeah, it doesn't make me materialistic or money hungry. It just that's what, strive for.
yeah. Do you know what? I was gonna wait because I like to my ADHD brain tries to be chronological, but then I will forget this. I actually wanna ask then, because people listening, even me, like we finally got into property only a few years ago, and then we're only just doing the house land package for our next investment, and I'm almost mid-30s. I'm 35 in a couple of weeks, right? So that's
Mhm.
mid-30s. I'm not mid-30s yet,
I'm not
even
saying anything. I'm not saying anything because I'm only about a year away and I'll be
yeah,
right there
yeah.
with you.
Like, we're still in our 20s. What are you talking about? Like,
I
we're
still
never
feel 27.
yeah, yeah, 20 age stops at 27, and then we
Yeah,
just,
we're
look more
27 and
mature.
plus one.
Plus, yeah, yeah. So, there's so many people listening that's like, "Yeah, but you started when you're 19. I wanna get started now." I know I see your posts all the time where like, doesn't matter about that. Like now is always going to be the best time. What then would you? I want to get this piece of advice, and then I'm going to come back to your story.
Mhm.
If someone is like in their 30s, whatever age, but say most of my listeners are around roughly my age,
Yeah.
right? They're like, well, fuck, I want to get into property. Oh my gosh, if only I started back when I was 19 and everything's inflated and blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you say? What do you do? What is your wisdom around
Honestly, it is totally a different market to what it was when I was
that?
19. The barrier to entry is harder in many ways, but in my professional opinion, there's so many more opportunities. And the first thing I would say to, somebody in their 30s who has a steady income but doesn't yet have a lot of savings and feels the getting into the property market's just too hard, my biggest advice would be get out of your own head and allow teammates,
Mm,
because trying to do it alone, very difficult. And I didn't do it alone.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
then have a boyfriend. I did also have my boyfriend's dad who went guarantor. So I can't go, I did all of this on my own, because I didn't. And I think a lot of us get to, our mid 30s and go, I don't need a man. I can do this with my own wage.
Mhm.
And it stops us because even, we get to a point with our own developments personally where there's only so much money we have before you're going to run out. And that's where money partners and, more lending comes into it. But I would say get out of your own head and allow the opportunity to have teammates.
Yes. Well, this is
That could
like
be a friend, a
yeah,
parent, a boyfriend, a money partner. There's so many different
it's a
avenues.
business deal. Everything is it's a deal. It's a contract. Just treat it as if. Don't let the emotions come in, obviously, because that's what happens. But do you know what? I love this so much because the reality is, unless you have 800,000 to $1 million cash in the bank right now, and you want to start getting into property development in Australia,
Mhm.
you are having teammates because you're going to borrow from the bank. The bank becomes a teammate, but we don't
Exactly. Your
appreciate
mortgage
that.
broker's a teammate. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
When I'm saying teammate, I'm not
yeah.
saying, you have to be married
Mm.
and you guys are going 50-50 and everything. I'm saying like an accountant, a mortgage broker, the bank, money partners. There's so many different avenues, but you just need to be open to finding a solution.
Yes, I love that, and
I'm
that
always about it's all figure outable.
oh, figure outable. Is that even
Yeah,
a word? I love it.
it is.
It is? Good.
Yeah. Solvable, figure outable
And it
solution.
exactly, and that's manifestation. We try and control like, "Well, I wanna manifest a property or a house that has to be this way." Mm-mm. The how you can't control, and when we think we can control it, this applies to everything. You're gonna be your own bottleneck. You're putting up
Yep.
your roadblocks, you're putting up your blinkers, and you're not seeing the other opportunities at play. But then I
Yep.
do believe, like, then you have to have a regulated nervous system. You have to deal with your emotions around it because this is the protectiveness, especially when women. It's like, oh, I want to do it all myself. I don't even want my partner. But you're saying it from that point of what if you probably saw your parents, someone get fucked over financially, or someone get hurt, or you've been hurt in the past, and it's a survival
All off the
position.
above.
All of the above, right? Same here. But then, so that actually is sabotaging our success because we think we're being smart of like, well, I'll just do it all by myself.
Yep.
When, and this is a topic around marriage. If you're married, you've signed a contract. It doesn't matter whether whose name's on the property or whatever, because if shit hits the fan and there is entitlements within that business deal, no matter what. So it's almost like let's blast that belief and that sabotage out the water because it does, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
It
So
doesn't matter.
it's about what's the goal? Like, what does the wealthy version, your desires, make that
Yep.
happen? Not,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just look at the goal and then
yeah.
figure out how to get there. Don't get in your way with these
Mhm.
idealizations of I must do this on my own. You know, Mel did it on her own. She got a property at 19. She did it. See, I can do it. It's bullshit. I didn't do it on my own.
You
So that
didn't.
would be my biggest piece of advice.
I love this. So then take us through the journey because
Yep.
19 was like 3 years ago, you know, because
I love you.
over a decade ago. What have you been able to create? Because, you know, you can buy the house and some people have done the house in their 20s but done nothing more. Like they just own property and they're living in it. It's not
Yep.
about the whole investment. So, like, what was the trajectory of your life? Like, where did you then get empowered to be like, right, like, let's
Well,
keep living this?
instantly I learnt about equity because we had a guarantor.
Yeah.
And I remember my mortgage broker going, when the house is built, you can refinance and use the equity to take the guarantor off the loan.
Yes.
At 19, I was like, what? What are you talking about? But then when I realized at the end, there was $130,000 equity and all I did was finish the build.
Yeah.
And then I realized that you can use that money to buy more. But what I didn't understand then was how that all worked.
Yeah.
So I was still in the, let's sell the house and then use that cash and do another one.
Yes. Which is it's very short term. Which like there's pros and cons to it, right? But it is
And
definitely
they were,
short
yeah.
term. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so from that point onwards, we sold the house. I actually decided to try and sell it myself because it was in a relatively new area and every agent was telling me it wasn't worth what I thought it was worth. Of course, you think your house is worth more than it is, but
Yeah.
guess what? It was. I won.
Woohoo!
So I sold it through like agent in a box, made about $130,000 off that deal. And also had my first daughter in that little time frame
Love it. Yep.
because I'm crazy like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's have a baby
Mhm.
and do another house. So we did. We did another house and land package because, you know, we seen that work. We rolled all of that money into the other one and went into a rental with my mum, which was great for about 3 months. And then we ended up in our own rental.
Yes, because there's only so much. Look, guys, it is a strategy if you want to live with your parents. I definitely couldn't. So
And
I
look,
just,
I tried and it wasn't my mum. We'll just leave it at that. It wasn't my mum, but
yeah, yeah,
we ended up moving out. We had a family member who had a rental. It popped up, perfect timing. The stars aligned. Completed that build, had my second daughter, and sadly, that was where my marriage fell apart.
yeah, yeah,
So that would be another thing that you have to keep in mind. You know, when you go too hard at one thing, other things are going to fall apart, which it did in my, in my world. So, I actually took a bit of a hit financially and ended up leaving the family home and pretty much had to start from scratch.
yeah.
So that was when I got into investing because I
Um,
looked at it differently. I had lost pretty much everything. I did get some money out of the family home 2 years later after it was sold. But there was about 2 years there where I had nothing and I was renting and just absolutely, just doing it rough with the two
yeah,
little girls.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so that was where I did a lot of YouTube, a lot of upskilling, a lot of learning, and that's where I actually found my now boss around this time, and he's big on YouTube and rent vesting and
yeah,
all of that. So
yeah.
that's how I got into where I am now.
Well, let's just make a point here, right? It seems like, oh, you got into a house when you were 19, you've been over the decade, you've been growing, growing, growing. But really it was like, well, no, everything stopped. And it's almost like you went backwards because then you have two dependents. So you had to start again, which is where a lot of people, like, no one can say that you were lucky when,
No,
because you have a history of, it's like, yeah, I know, I'm familiar with buying house and land
I
packages.
knew the fundamentals of what I needed and wanted to do, but
Yeah,
unfortunately life happened. No,
yeah. Fortunately, of
fortunately
course,
life
fortunately.
happened.
Yeah.
And it definitely made it way harder for me to do what I'm now doing
Yeah.
because, as you know, getting loans from banks with
Mhm.
dependents is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Earning money with dependents is a lot harder. So yeah, there's an element of luck in, I'm sure you could find it, but a lot of it's been hard work.
Well, we create our luck, right? We create our
100%.
luck.
Yeah.
which is actually really cool. In my last episode when I interviewed Steph, who's a feng shui expert, and
Uh-huh.
they've got like the feng shui philosophies. There's the three types of luck. There's obviously the luck that you're born, as in, look, I speak now as a white person living in a first world country. So I
Mhm.
was born into a luck. There's a privilege there. So I get there's
Yep.
stuff that you can't control, but then there's a luck where you can control. Like everyone has the same opportunities
Yep.
with certain things, and I can relate because I saw my mum go through it, and I've been
Mhm.
in a position where it almost happened, and I did the things I needed to do so it didn't happen, where it's like single parent and
Yeah,
it's a
I was
struggle.
27 in a
Yeah,
rental with nothing. I had no
like
car, no phone, no home. So everything that I'd worked for, the thing that I was most scared of, I ended up
happened.
being right back there.
Yeah. So then what shifted for you? Because this is a powerful point, because when people are stuck in this space, it's so easy to stay stuck and blame the government and blame this and blame blah, 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 right? And that's just going to keep you broke for the rest of your life. Cool. If that's your choice. I'm not here for it. I don't have time for that because that's not my I'm not choosing that. So you had to make those choices too, to not stay
Mhm.
stuck and be a victim of your circumstance. So what
Yep.
was it that like tell us a bit of that about that journey?
Well, I think it was the people that I met on that journey of being alone. I would often talk about, I want to succeed. This is what success looks like for me. I'm not somebody who has little random chit chats with people. I'm like, we're going deep. We're talking about big life goals, or we're probably not talking at all.
Yeah.
So I think because I was so open about that with the people that I was meeting, and because the first time in my life I was out in the big wide world, I was meeting a lot of people that were aligning with my vision and things that, I was hopeful for in the future, which is where I met my now partner, Jake, who's a builder. So
Love that.
it was like tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
And then when he was like, oh, and I build houses, I was like, oh, yes, where have
Well,
you
thank you,
been?
universe, for bringing you into my
I
life.
actually
Yeah.
like building houses. And what did you say? You build houses. Okay. Yes. Done. Tick.
That's the only reason you guys are together, right?
No,
Obviously.
absolutely not.
Obviously.
But he's crazy like me in all the best ways.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's
Yep.
so good. It's you're just aligned. And this is the
Yep.
thing, like when we're clear on what we want, and you know this, you look back and be like, I knew what I wanted, I was ready for it, I was open to receiving.
Yep.
And yours came in the form of well, part of the way came in the form of a very hunky new man.
Exactly. Exactly. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of soul searching and learning on my
Yeah.
own. But
Yes, of course.
yeah, I think the big change for me was when I met him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So then tell us
because we worked together.
yeah, the
I had
teamwork, you
teammates.
the
Yes.
teammates, the teamwork.
Yes. And we almost looked at everything like, I love you, you love me, but let's do this business stuff.
Yes.
So that was kind of like separated.
Yeah, you kept it, you took the emotion out. It's the best thing ever. It's when stereotypically you look at two men in business, there's like no emotion, the masculine, like shit gets done, conversations are had, there's no taking shit personally. Us women, we do have a layer of extra emotion. But
Yes.
then if you're mixing that with even there's one man in the partnership and we're the female, but if he's not as emotional, there's still the emotional dynamic of a relationship.
Yep.
So we just need to compartmentalize. That's what we're
Yes.
just saying. Treat it like a business. Treat it
Yep.
like a business deal. Go in.
I think you can also
Yeah.
like switch between. Like I feel like we can operate as like business Mel and Jake, and then
Yeah.
we can operate as mum and dad, boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
Mel and Jake. Where,
Yeah.
we're softer with each other. But in business, we're quite brutal, and you kind of have to, let it be that way because things need to be said so we
Or
can
think,
get the
yeah.
better results.
Or it's just gonna be an energetic block. I always
Yep.
say that. People, if that's the energy, like everything is energy. Oh, I love this. This is great because there's so many people. I have clients who are like, I'm always fighting with my husband, and Daniel and I used to be at each other. And even
Mhm.
things with our new investments, it's brought up stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like in those moments where it's like, okay, are we a relationship like boyfriend, girlfriend trying to do this? Or are we going to treat this like a fucking business deal and
Yep.
have to step into that? Because if you think of the wealthy people, rich people who are doing this, like they're buying properties like they brush their teeth,
Mhm.
there's no room for emotion. It's like decision, decision, let's go. It's either going to work or not work. Make the decisions. That's CEO energy, and that's what we need to bring.
100%.
Yeah. So then, where did you? When was it that you got into now helping other people?
Well, Jake and I did a build together, and then we got a money partner and we did a development.
Yeah.
All three of those houses that we created, I again sold through my agent in a box. So
Yeah.
I've had this passion for real estate. This is when it was all starting to connect for me. I was like, I've always been into building houses. I've sold all of my own houses. Now I'm with a builder. It was just like, this is where I need to go. I honestly don't really feel like I had a choice. I feel like I was pulled. And so when Jake and I had our son, I had a full year where I was just kind of helping him with his admin for builds and the development side of the stuff. So I decided that I was going to do my real estate course.
Yeah.
I then did my diploma in agency management. So did as much like learning as I could in that time where he was a little baby. And when Banksy was I think it was about 1.5, I applied for my first role in real estate, and I decided to go down the buying avenue because I thought it would be better suited to like mum hours. I've always said that while my kids are young, they are number one.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't mean I don't want a career. It just means that my career needs to work around my kids and their schedules, not the other way around. So I'm not missing school pickup. I'm going to every assembly. I'm there to do their hair in the morning. It's not up for dispute. That is what's most
Yeah.
important to me.
I love that.
So
Yeah.
that was how I found myself in buying. I worked for a company for about 6 months. It wasn't the best experience. I won't go too far into that, but it definitely helped me get into my now role with a company called Search Property, and we buy large volume investment homes for everyday Australians. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm obsessed with my job.
Oh, I love it. And that's it. Like, that's what I'm learning about. Like, what's the best way? If I want property as one of my asset avenues, what's the best way? And what you're doing it's like go in and work. Who's buying the land? Who can I develop with for the long term goal? And I know you would teach exactly. This is the forecast. This is what it looks like. This is the short term. And then like what's the investment, all the things. This is how it's going to feed you long term. Obviously, we can't control the future, but
No.
it's the same with property, buying shares, buying crypto. We don't actually know, but we know buying assets.
All you can go off
Yeah.
is like historical data.
Yeah.
And when you look at that and you look at everything that's driving these current property markets, there's nothing changing. So if without change, how is something going to change?
And there's always cycles. And then this is where it always comes back to universal law. And I talk about this with money, with everything. The universal law of circulation, everything has cycles.
Yep.
And then I guess we're here, like I'm here wanting to lead the way because I didn't grow up with this knowledge. You're the same. It's that self leadership that we want to empower other women and families
Yep.
and men too. But women kind of attract the women.
Yep.
too.
Yep.
And it's the whole like trusting the cycle of it, not being a victim of the cycles of the world where things go up and down, not being a victim or victim's like the best word. It's like, oh, interest rates or inflation or XYZ.
It's that fearfulness. It's
Yeah.
like lose the fear and just kind of surrender to.
Oh my God, that word surrender. When I was told that in my first pregnancy, I was like, if one more person tells me
That is, do you know what? If
surrender.
somebody comes to me and goes, "What's your best advice for being a mum?" and I'm like, surrender.
But like, I also want to punch you in the face to say it because
Like, don't tell me that. But that honestly, like, and I think, I've had 3 now, and I feel like every time I've surrendered just a little bit more and I've enjoyed the process a little bit more. So
yeah. And
it goes for property as well. Surrender.
100%. Trust is one of the healthiest feminine energetic traits. And when we're in fear and then we're going to protective, our wounded masculine comes out. And as a female, we don't want to be heavy in our masculine because it can fuck up so much in the dynamics of our relationships, in our life, and all the things. And I've come from major protection and now protective mode to step into trust. And it's true. You have evidence, I have evidence in my life. Every time I've trusted and trusted that it's going to work out, I'm always supported. The money's always going to come.
I always have enough.
Always
It
does.
always comes. Yeah, it does. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely got that mentality, but it's not to say that I don't still have that little voice in the back of my head that has that fear or, it tells you those things you don't want to actually be thinking. But ultimately, I think if you just trust and believe, it always happens. I don't know how. I can't even explain it.
Because it's universal. Well, people hear it all the time, and people listening. I'm probably not the first. Maybe I am the first podcast, but you're listening to the like people talking about manifestation and mindset. It's all the same thing. It's about the trusting. But I'm human. When we sign the contracts for the new house and land package, like I hit my edges again because it's like cool because I'm going to be borrowing the bank's money to do this. So my
Yep.
teammate, other people's money, which at the start is going to be a bigger debt, but trusting that there's a strategy to pay off the debt. It's not just
Yep.
I'm now in debt,
Yep.
but it hits your limits. But I'm like, I could either be where I am right now or I could be the next person that has all this more wealth building. And I've just got to stretch myself and push
Well,
past
there's levels, and
the
I feel like
humanness in my brain.
with every level, you get to a point where you're like, okay, we're going to make this work. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And then you kind of get there and you're like, oh, I'm a bit comfortable here now. So now I
Yeah,
need to go to the next level. And then you have to
yeah,
go through it all over again. Every time you grow,
yeah,
it gets uncomfortable, it gets to be like, ugh,
yeah.
but
But
you
it
have to
gets
just keep
easier.
finding that new level. It does
It gets
because
easier.
you know the
Yeah.
process.
Well, it gets quicker. I'm going to say the feeling isn't easier. The feeling becomes familiar. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, I've been here
you move through it
before.
quicker. Yep.
You do. You're like, okay, I haven't died. So I literally shared this reel today of like the Asian dude off the Hangover movie.
Uh-huh.
Like, but did you die? And I was like, right, well, I was shot. Yeah, but did you die? It's like it's that thing,
Yep.
same thing. Like, it's familiar. I didn't die. It's feeling
Hmm.
like I'm being shot right now. It's really fucking uncomfortable,
Yep.
but die. So there's the evidence. I think this is a really powerful message is always find the evidence of when it's been hard before, but did you die? Literally, your nervous system just doesn't want you to die.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'd be dead.
Exactly.
As crazy as that sound. And that helps move you. So I guess tell us, well, if people, they're like, okay, I want to get into property. One,
Hmm.
they need to contact you because they need you in their life. Anyway, but what would you tell them or how do you help them exactly?
Yeah, well, look, a buyer's agent in particular, we do hold a pretty unique set of skills, and um, in Australia, we're not really a well-known role
Mm,
yet. Whereas, like in American market, it's like a selling agent and a buyer's agent do the deal. There are no people to vendor, it's all agent to agent.
yeah,
Whereas in Australia, we're still dealing with, everyday Australians go to the real estate agent and go, I want to buy this house. I do believe that that particular transaction it will be phased out. It's going to become so difficult to buy a property without a buying agent, or you end up overpaying. You get too
yeah,
emotional about it. And
yeah,
this is where I feel like my set of skills, I can help you in the ways of entire different market of properties that everyday people will not see because they don't go onto realestate.com. They don't go onto domain.com. They're literally just built through relationships, through
mhm,
agents where they'll send it to me before it goes to any market. So
yep,
that would be one way I can help. And then the second way is I eliminate all emotion. I don't look at property like, oh, I need it to look a certain way. Oh, it's not got big enough bedrooms, this, and this. I look at it like it's going to rent for this, it's going to cost you this, and it's going to grow this.
this, yeah,
And if those numbers add up, it's a deal. If it's in your
that's it,
budget, it's a deal.
yeah, yeah,
So
which
they
is
would
what we
be like the
need.
key.
Yeah, you need someone if you know you want to invest, but it creates emotion right now, you find someone to eliminate the emotion, AKA.
Also, it's a very
Yeah.
timely venture. I don't know if you've gone out there and tried to buy a house lately.
Oh, we definitely look. Yeah, you can't.
It's very
Yeah,
time consuming, especially if you don't know you're going to put in an
yeah,
offer and go, oh, we might get this one. You're not. You're probably not going to get the next 30 that you put an offer in on. Truth be told, I
yeah,
put in about 50 offers a week and I might get 10.
yeah.
So,
Well,
and
that's it. Like our
that's with
property that we
relationships.
That's we went through as well someone who does this too, and it's like they're like, look, land is released. You've usually got 24 hours, and it's snatched up because of the demand,
Yep.
and it's about who they know. And guys, if you've never gone into property before, think about the rental market too. You go, there's 100 people at a rent inspection, and usually it's already rented out to someone who wasn't even there because it's all about
Mm-hmm.
who you know.
Yep.
And then it's not that's not the excuse of well, I don't know anyone. Find someone who
Get
knows
a
someone.
teammate.
How's
you know,
it's like you're the agent. I just think of
yep.
like PR. You know when you have your person your publicist no, what is it? Your PR agent, your public
Oh,
relations chick. I'm thinking Sex in the City. You
yep.
need your Samantha,
Yep.
like to hook you up,
You
who
do.
knows the people.
Yep.
So you're like,
100%.
you're the house connector.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I'm
So
the
what's the best
connector.
thing for
I'm the
people to
connector.
do? Best thing, we've got all your links in the show notes anyway. What's the best way if people are like, I just want to chat to you, Mel? What's the best thing they can do?
Head straight to socials. I'm pretty active
Yep.
through the DMs. Yeah, I would say that would be the best way. If you are interested in purchasing a property, an investment style property, I work for Search Property, and we've got amazing staff. So definitely head their way as well, and then I can actually be the person that finds the property for you.
Yay.
Yeah.
So Belle's Instagram's, scroll down the show notes, find it, click on it, follow all the things, and your content. Go consume your content. It's so good. I love it. That's why I
Oh,
love you.
really?
I read it. I'm like,
Oh,
can
thank
relate.
you. I
Yeah.
actually find a lot of inspiration from yours, so that's probably why you like mine.
Well, sure. Let's go with that. My ego
Yeah.
loves hearing that. But anyway, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share or leave anyone with off the top of your head? I know we've got so much gold.
I would just say get out of your own way, trust the process, surrender, and make moves today.
Yeah.
Today.
You have to.
Massive action, always.
Massive action.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even it's not even massive action, it just feels massive. That's all.
That's what I mean. When I say massive action, I just mean like a phone call or like an email. Like that is massive action, guys. That is massive action.
Send Mel a DM. Be like, I need you. I listened to the podcast with Kim. I need you. I need a chat. Like, what's next? Like, you don't even need to know what question to ask. Like, that's where you come in, Mel.
That's
like,
the action. Yep. Yeah. 100%.
Love it. Well,
thanks
you
so much for having me.
No, you're amazing. All right. We'll chat. Well, I'll chat to everyone else on the next episode.
All right. Bye, guys.